Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Friends, today, Saturday, February 11th, 2023. We hope to discuss Maharahulovada Sutta, or the greater discourse of advice to Rahula. Rahula at that time was just 18 years, in the prime of his life. Many people are unable to accept the changes that take place in their middle age, such as graying hair, wrinkling skin, discolored teeth, slowing of limb movement, crooked spine, etc. Because we dislike change, when a dear one dies, we become totally distraught and upset. The Sutta advises us on how to face any kind of change and learn from it and find liberation. One day, when the Buddha was going for alms, to collect food, alms, Rahula, his son in lay life, also followed him. It is said that seeing the Buddha's physical perfection, he was full of admiration and thought he too was as handsome as the Blessed One, or like the Blessed One. The Buddha, having seen Rahula's thoughts, advised him immediately, before they could lead him into difficulties. He said, that is, the Buddha said, all material things like form, the body, feeling, perception, formations, that is, mental formations, thinking or thoughts, and consciousness. These are called the five aggregates. Whether they existed in the past, future, or present, the internal and external, internal aggregates and external, that is other people's aggregates, whatever aggregates there are, whether they are gross or subtle. Sometimes, there are aggregates of certain beings that we don't see. So they can be subtle, inferior or superior, existing close by or far away, should be regarded as, this is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself. We always think that there is a self here, right? Very difficult to get rid of that idea. Then Rahula, after that, is taught how the body is composed of the 4 elements and space, and to reflect on the body as, this is not mine, etc. That is the not self nature of the aggregates. Now, though we think that this is a self, that there is a self inside, if this is not the self, then that means there is a self inside which we cannot see, something divine. That is the normal idea, right? So, therefore, the Buddha, what the Buddha wants to point out is that there is no self in these aggregates. According to the Majjhima Nikaya commentary. You know, this Rahula Sutta is in the Majjhima Nikaya. That is the middle-length discourses of the Buddha. In this commentary, the Buddha explains the meditation on form or rupa, because Rahula is too attached to his body and does not see with insight. He is not yet, he has not reached anything, right? And no spiritual attainments yet. So he is very much attached to his young boy, isn't he? So, and very handsome, just like the Buddha, right? Very like the Buddha. So he was very proud of his form, naturally. So the Sutta teachings are all related to helping Rahula overcome his lustful, unwholesome thoughts. These instructions are specially helpful for developing the quality of impartiality, that is, accepting things as they are. Now, now I was not 40 years back, let us say, I was not like this, right? Nor were you. So, but just accept as things as they are. Why fight with them, right? The meditations given are also helpful for the overcoming of distractions from one's environment. Now, rupa or form changes owing to physical conditions such as heat, moisture, etc. That's why it is known as rupa. The word rupa comes from rupati, which means changing. Rupa has 28 material qualities, and the mind or consciousness has 52 mental qualities. Now, I'm not going into those qualities because it will be too much for this talk. The Buddha explains the internal and external earth elements and shows how they are related. You see, what we have inside here, as well as what is outside, they are all related. But we don't see the relationship until someone shows us, right? The internal element is what is solidified, like head hairs, body hairs, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, bone marrow, kidneys, heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, lungs, large intestines, small intestines, contents of the stomach, feces, or whatever one thinks is belonging to oneself internally, that one is attached to or clung to as self, right? So now when we talk about, say, we have a headache, we say, my headache, right? I have a toothache. I say, my toothache, right? So like that, you know, we always think of it as self, even if it is something painful. They are, now these earth elements are 20 altogether, 20 in number, the internal elements. The earth is earth, whether it's internal or external. To know exactly what the earth element is, one should see both internal and external earth elements. the external earth element is also impermanent. This is impermanent. Same way, the external one is also impermanent, full of suffering and empty, similar to the internal earth element. So, what is not self, one should let go. And then one is freed from bondage to the earth element inside. Though there may be disturbances of the earth element inside, like hair, teeth, or nails falling off, bones breaking up, or any of the other inner organs not functioning properly, a noble disciple will know it is just the earth element and not me, not mine, not myself. So she or he would let go of what is not mine and be free from bondage to this body. Similarly, although there may be disturbances of the earth element outside, like earthquakes. Now, you know, there is a big earthquake where people have died, 24,000 or something died in Turkey and Syria, right? So there can be outside, you know, earthquakes. It can be happen even here, or volcanic eruptions, etc. One may not be disturbed. That is the way it is, right? Of course, that doesn't mean that we should not help. Whatever we can do, we should help. That is a different thing, but not to be disturbed by it, crying and shouting and, you know, going about here and there. That is not what is necessary. Similarly, although there may be disturbances outside, we don't have to be disturbed. When one sees this as it actually is, with proper wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with the earth element and makes the mind dispassionate and detached. There is also the word unenchanted. I think you might have come across it if you read books. That is towards the earth element. This leads to deliverance, liberation. In another sutta, the Buddha declares, bhikkhus, when the body is sick, let not the mind be sick. This is the first deliverance in the path. So if we can, go to that level, then we can be sure that we have got the first deliverance in the path, right? Now, you know, the path means the Noble Eightfold Path. Similarly, Rahula, now this Buddha telling Rahula, right? Similarly, Rahula, Apo, the water element, is within the body and also outside, both internal and external. Whatever is watery, liquid like bile, phlegm, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, grease, spittle, snot, oil of the joints, urine, or whatever else internally one thinks belongs to one, that is clung to, is the water element, which is 12 in number. Can you see how the 32 parts are formed? Even if there is a disturbance in the water element inside, that is in here, like the bile that becomes unmanageable, pus appearing on the skin, you get a sort of boil-like thing and there is pus inside, a disturbance in the blood, urine trouble, the noble disciple will know that this is only the water element that is changing. We cannot always expect it to be the same. That is what we have to understand. Water that is outside, right? The external earth, external water element, outside like rain, the ocean, rivers, etc., is all the external water element. Though there is a disturbance in the water element outside, such as flooding, storms, tornadoes, or waves rolling onto the land, the noble disciple will not be moved, knowing that this is just the water element. You see, you know that this is just the water element. Why bother so much, right? That doesn't mean that if something happens, you don't try to do your bit, right? This is the second deliverance in the path. The fire element too may be internal or external. The internal fire element is felt, though not seen. You cannot see it like water element and earth element, but you can feel it. But one grasps and clings to this fire element as mind and part of oneself. Say you get your what do you call you get a sort of fever or something like that, right? Then you say, I have a high temperature. That's my temperature. I have high temperature. I have fever. So you see, now not that we should not use these words, but these words should not carry the meaning of self. That is the idea. So this can be fiery or fire, which warms, ages, or deteriorates, and which helps one to eat and digest. The external fire element is the sun's rays, which helps to grow things, but also helps to decay. The fire that would cook things or ripen fruits, etc., and also destroys, making parts of the earth unlivable, like desert areas, or starting forest fires. In California and so on, there are many forest fires, causing much damage to life and property. Both internal and external fire element are simply fire element. So it should be seen with proper wisdom as this is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. That's how we should see the fire element. When one sees in this way, one becomes disenchanted with the fire element and makes the mind dispassionate towards the fire element. This is the third deliverance. Can you see how we get rid of our sense of self? Sakkaya Ditti, right? If we want to attain Sotapanna, stream entry, this is the way. The air element may be either internal or external. Now we come to the next element, that is the air element. Now the four elements that we spoke about are the normal elements that usually you find in all the, now if you talk of elements, you find these four. But the space element you normally don't find in all or in every sutta or so, about element. But here it is given, air element. Maybe either internal or external. The internal air element is what one thinks as belonging to oneself, such as the upgoing winds, right? Then downgoing winds in the belly, in the bowels, winds that go through the limbs, the in-breath and out-breath, or whatever air that belongs to the body that is airy and clung to is the internal air element. The external air element is the air around us, which helps in growth and also causes havoc when unbalanced. This internal and external air element should be seen dispassionately. This is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. This is the fourth deliverance. Now you get the four elements that we normally talk about, right? That is the earth, water, fire, and air. Now you come to this one which is not normally talked about. The space element is also internal and external. Whatever space that is within the body, which one thinks belongs to one, like the holes in the ears, the nostrils, the mouth, and the opening that carries what is eaten, drunk, tasted, or swallowed, and where it collects and later excreted is known as the space element. The external space element is the vast empty area around the world and other worlds that may be in it. They have said that there are many, many worlds in space that may be in it, which holds all similar objects. Like our world, there may be other worlds. One should see both internal and external space element as this is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. This is the fifth deliverance. Now 5 deliverances. So if we go on from one to the next and to the next and to the next, we reach the fifth element. I'm sorry, the fifth deliverance, liberation. In order to be impartial, equivalent towards everything, the Buddha tells Rahula to be like the earth. For we have the earth element inside. Then arisen, agreeable, and disagreeable contacts will not invade your mind and remain there, making you happy and unhappy or unhappy. So you see now, when we think of this earth element that is inside as well as outside, our relationship to the earth element is there. Isn't that so? It is proved. And it is because of this earth element that we become happy or unhappy, right? By thinking of, other people, their relationships to us, or their way of relating to us, or, what I'm talking about. We get angry and all kinds of things, right? Happy also. But all this happens because we think that this is mine. But when we think of it as earth element and it does not belong to us, then we don't have to worry about its existence. So that is why Buddha says to be impartial and to be equivalent towards everything, right? So that you don't become happy or unhappy or whatever because of the earth element. This great earth, Buddha says, this great earth, no matter what is thrown upon it, does not change, whether it be flowers or perfume or excreta or urine. Similarly, when faced with the worldly Dhamma of, there are 8 kinds of worldly Dhamma: praise and blame, gain and loss, fame and ill fame, comfort and pain. Learn. Now, Buddha is telling Rahula, learn not to be dejected or elated, but maintain your even temper and equanimity like the mighty earth. For as you do so, no suffering will ever touch you. Now see, if we also follow that principle, we also can be without pain and without, all kinds of unhappiness, right? We don't have to. Then, now the Buddha goes on, meditate like water, so that arisen, agreeable, and disagreeable contacts will not invade your mind and remain. Just as people wash clean things and dirty things, excrement, urine, spittle, pus, and blood in water, and the water is not horrified or humiliated and disgusted because of that. So too, Rahula, develop meditation like water. The Buddha gave a similar advice concerning other elements, that is fire, air, and space. So I'm not going into all of them, because you can understand how he would have gone. You can read this sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya for you if you like to understand it better. The Buddha did not stop here. He continued to talk about the Brahma Viharas. You know the Brahma Viharas? Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekha. That is, Rahula, Buddha says, develop meditation on metta, loving kindness. For if any ill will invaded your mind, it will pass away. Grow in compassion, karuna, for as you do so, vexations and any cruelty will be abandoned. Grow in sympathetic joy or gladness, mudita, for as you do so, aversion or discontent will be abandoned. Grow in equanimity, for when you develop it, fatigue or repugnance will surely pass away. That is dislike. Grow in the practice of asubha, foulness. You know about the 32 parts, the impurities, asubha. Then, seeing the foul nature of the body, living or dead, all lust, passion, and sensuality will be abandoned. Now the Buddha tells Rahula to grow in the perception of impermanence. For as you do so, the I conceit, the pride which says, I am, will surely be abandoned, leading you to understand the utter nature of selflessness. Finally, the Buddha advises Rahula to develop mindfulness of breathing and gives a complete training in that meditation, saying that when it's developed and cultivated, it is of great fruit and benefits. So, the Buddha gives a whole lot of meditations to Rahula. Now, let us see what benefit we can get. The benefit that we can get from this sutta is to meditate in many different ways. First one is about the elements. The division into elements will take away our sense of belonging, and we could learn to see the no-self nature of our body. Second, impermanence. Whether it's our body or the outside world, we begin to notice the changes taking place continuously. 3, the Brahma Viharas. That is the importance of these 4 meditations. That is metta or generosity, karuna or compassion, mudita or joy in others' success, upekka or equanimity. Then the 5th one is how to do the breath meditation mindfully. If we practice even one of these meditations, we could attain at least stream entry or sotapanna in this life itself. Thank you. So, do you have any questions? If you have, please ask. No question? Now, friends, I thought I will give you the breath meditation that Buddha gave Rahula. Do you like that? Because we have done breath meditation before, but I thought it given in the Buddha's words, you might like it. I'm going to read from the book because this is what the translation of exactly what Buddha has said. But I will try to give you more the section of it only because it's a little too much if I go to the end. But you can read for yourself from the book, right? So please now sit down for a little meditation. Keep your spine straight with the head, neck. The upper part of the body should be straight. And keep your hands on your lap or on your knees, as you like. Now take a few deep breaths. Now take your mind to the front of your face. That is, usually we think of the breath at the nose. So take your mind there. Your mindfulness will be at the nose, the front of your face, right? So now I'm going to read from the book. Breathing in long. Please close your eyes now if you are ready. Breathing in long You understand. I breathe in long. Breathing out long. You understand. I breathe out long. Now, when you say I here, it doesn't mean that you are thinking of a self. The I is to make one understand what we are doing. Breathing in short. You understand. I breathe in short. Breathing out short. You understand. I breathe out short. Now you know that the breath travels through the body. So we next think of the whole body. Now you think like this. I shall breathe in, experiencing the whole body. When you take the breath in, you feel that the breath is going through the whole body, because otherwise you can't move even. Then I shall breathe out, experiencing the whole body. I shall breathe in, tranquilizing the bodily formation. Now you are tranquilizing your thoughts, right? I shall breathe out, tranquilizing the bodily formation. You are now tranquilizing the body as well as the mind. So now you are turning to the mind now. I shall breathe in, experiencing rapture. That means joy, happiness. Then I shall breathe out, experiencing rapture. Now the next one. I shall breathe in, experiencing pleasure. That is after the rapture. That means your joy has become more calm. I shall breathe out, experiencing pleasure. Now I shall breathe in, experiencing the mental formation, right? I shall breathe out, experiencing the mental formation. Now your thoughts are calmed. I shall breathe in, tranquilizing the mental formation. I shall breathe out, tranquilizing the mental formation. I thought I will not go further into the mind because you can do it yourself later. So think of what we have done for a little while before we open our eyes. If you have any questions, please ask now.